Hello, everybody, and welcome to our second of three features today on the Link to the Past Randomizer League's Open League Playoffs. Right now, we're going to give you Dark Side of the Triforce and Oops All Foxes in a Courage game featuring WGarrison and Adilor, respectively. You got Zeruvian here on comms. No Chibato is tracking, and I am joined by Zeke Highwind today. Zeke.
Hi, Zaru. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great, and I'm as excited as anyone could possibly be for this race. Second game between these two teams last night. I had a cross keys tilt against IB Karma. Karma absolutely should have beaten me in that game, but I'll take it. Foxes are looking at trying to get some revenge against Darkside after they swept their Casual Boots week in the regular season 2-0.
Does it make you a little cautious about today, given that they're playing the mode they beat you in last time?
See, that's the thing with this mode. There's so many things that can be routed differently in Casual Boots that works out in such a way that one check skipped or gotten earlier or never checked at all between these two runners could make the difference. And the two games that we had in the regular season, an average of 330 apart in those two games. Of course, both of them going in the favor of Dark Side of the Triforce here.
If I remember correctly, you were the one against Garrison last time.
Yeah, I had a shot at Garrison and I missed. But today, Adilor's got his shot. And both of these players, no stranger to some standard action, Casual Boots being one of Adilor's favorites. They both did play in the Challenge Cup series that we had while main tournament was going on. Adilor finishing roughly 4th, Garrison tying for, well, not roughly 4th, top 8. I'll say top 8, and Garrison tying for 3rd. So no stranger to this game and no stranger to the logic in an open type seed.
And we are off, and Uncle giving us some solid advice. Unfortunately, we're going to ignore it because he wouldn't check anything after this check here.
He's not going to have the HP to check anything after this check here. He's exhausted just getting to the castle. I mean, ooh, we got an early map check. That's dual 5/6s, one in Desert, one in Hera, and a regular crystal sitting over at Eastern.
2 red crystal light world, 3 pendant dark world.
Little sketchy that. You might end up baited into an early Pyramid Fairy play, which could have absolutely everything you need or absolutely nothing. All depends on when you decide to pull the trigger. This is a Courage matchup, so we got Casual Boots. The Boots start, Assured Sword, and the Castle Escape sequence, which is made much easier by the sword sitting here in Secret Passage. Oh, okay then.
So, Master Sword, huh? What are your thoughts on early Master Sword as we go through this castle?
It's probably one of those things I really don't want to see this early, especially if Lamp happens to sit somewhere in the castle. It's talking about, oh, by the way, you're going to do Aghanim in about 20 minutes. You just don't know it yet.
And on the plus side, it does mean that getting keys out of here is easier. Key guards go down in 1 less hit.
2 hits or a spin, as Garrison's going to show us here. You know, roughly about the same amount of time since you have to charge your sword. You got that required key that's going to sit somewhere in the front of Escape to allow us to go through Dark Cross and get to the back here with the Princess.
The only time that the key can end up in the Zelda Cell or Boomerang Chest is when it's forced to send you through Escape first.
There's a little bit of margin play here. You'll see Garrison does take a slight advantage coming into the Boomerang room just because of cleaner dash lines. A lot of variation that you see in the runners as they go through a Casual Boots opener. Some of them might go ahead and dash straight down and go up and around. Some might dash right. You might see them go up to the stairwell and then dash right. In the castle lobby, you might see someone dash right and then up. There's little things here and there that may gain or lose you a second in Casual Boots. Oh, both of them taking a hit from that mace off the ball and chain guard. That's going to put them down a heart going back here. Of course, that sword does make things a lot easier, especially when, you know, all the ropes will just get dashed through and taken care of.
Nothing is more satisfying in a Master Sword escape than seeing 6 ropes get hit by a dashing Master Sword. They all go down.
Yeah, we're going to see Garrison take this bottom path, and I believe Adilor is going to follow suit. It's been said to me that going around to this stairwell here is a little faster. I've never timed that out myself, so I couldn't tell you.
It probably is, but I still like to go dash down just because I like dashing in straight lines because it's fun.
Yeah, if you're dashing with multiple direction changes, it actually can end up being a little bit slower because every time you have to kick up dust, you cost yourself those precious few frames that it costs. All right, as we approach the castle back here, you are going to see that complimentary light cone that you get in standard escape modes without a lamp.
It's kind of nice to be able to see when you're doing the escape sequence.
That's one of the reasons I think Casual Boots is a much more accessible mode to the younger player. It gives you everything you could possibly want in the early parts of the game, and it doesn't take anything else. Of course, these two runners, No Secret to Dark Rooms, are going to be absolutely on the table for them at any point in this seed if we don't see a lamp.
That nice pile of money in the middle of the escape is pretty nice.
Yeah, 300 rupees to start your seed off here. You could probably run off to Zora if you wanted to at some point later on, even if you don't have a glove or flippers. And of course, not having a bomb yet, those rupees might come in handy if you need to buy yourself 10 at some point.
Luckily, we have, for those who go to CAC immediately, we do have that bonk rock by the fortune teller that can give you a guaranteed bomb.
Just a little bit of extra HP back here. Good little fortification for later on. I don't remember seeing the map, Zeke. Is that sitting in Sanctuary?
I think so.
Let's see if our runners remember that that's the case. If so, if not, we might see a map just because. Yeah, just like that, they're seconds apart here, leaving the back of Escape. So, like we said, solid, close game all the way through is what I'm expecting from Garrison and Adilor on the screen.
And like we said, map and Sanctuary, they're just going to leave it there.
Yeah, both players remembering map is not something you usually see, even at a higher level of play. Someone's bound to be like, oh, did I see the map? I don't remember.
And we have a wavy coin, the Quake Medallion.
Ah, early bacon cookie. We don't know if we need that or not yet. But that is nice to have one medallion early on when you have a 3-pendant Dark World. So maybe you're not as happy to see it, but you don't know what those pendants are quite yet.
We do like to see the tier 2 bombs.
Yeah, free bombs is always nice. Saves you having to bonk and wait. And that's plenty of bombs to get through Kakariko and start on South Shore if that's the direction you want to go in.
And at the moment, we don't need the item from Aghanim. Just a big 20 sitting there on Lumberjack Ledge.
And speaking of those Lumberjack, those hitboxes are just next to impossible to dash around properly.
And Garrison picking up the piece part. I believe that puts you at 4. Yep, that does put him at 4.
Addie's going to check tier 1, and it's vanilla. Thanks, game. And Addie's going to be down 1 heart going into Kakariko, but we're already sitting pretty at 5 and 6. So, yeah, with a lot of HP just literally waiting to be grabbed later on, I don't think that piece of heart is going to add up to too much.
Probably not too much, no. I mean, there's bound to be at least 1 in the 13 checks we can get in Kakariko Village.
Of course, Kakariko being the ultimate of, hey, I got all kinds of checks, come on over. So we're going to see Blind Sut for 5, we're going to see Catwell for 5, give the Bottle Merchant 100 rupees, and with Boots we can also get whatever's on the library and access race game with or without bombs. Although bombs appear to be not a problem.
That's a hookshot.
It is indeed. That already projects another interesting question as to what the seed wants us to do. I might see a mountain access coming up early here.
Now, do you prefer the glove or the flute for that possible mountain access?
I think in this circumstance, you're probably going to want to see flute to be your logic for the mountain. If you get a lamp in a glove, it's going to tell you exactly what you don't want to hear. Hey, go do Aga. Go do Aga.
Hey, look, a fire rod.
Well, there's your lamp.
Why are there 2 fire sources in a well?
Did you know the well is on fire today? Alrighty, so we got plenty of money. So we're going to see both players go ahead and buy these overpriced bombs off the bottle merchant.
So at the store down south, you can get 10 for 50, or you can buy 3 for 100 here.
Telling you, paying for convenience. All right, no bottles, so we'll be leaving Sick Kid for later on, but there's this one check in the back of Tavern, the library, and the race game, and then we'll be done here and get to see whether Garrison decides he wants to go South Shore or poke at Eastern here. Of course, all of our Light World dungeons are crystals, so...
South Shore's feeling really good right now with the rupee count we have.
Yeah, you see with that 50 picked up, Adilor is going to be over 500, so he can go ahead and water walk all the way to Zora.
The green rupee, on the other hand, can stay right there. And Garrison giving us a blind check on race game.
And you might see players do what Garrison's doing and just be like, Kakariko had nothing, so I'm going to go ahead and get my flippers without looking at it, and Adilor's going to have to double back and take a few extra seconds to pick those up. And now the game's telling us to go to Zora, Zeke.
It really is, because now the Zora checks that we were talking about, those are in logic now. So, South Shore?
South Shore. You know, when the game decides to be, hey, your progression's linear, have fun!
Oh, hey! Boots!
Yeah, Sphere 1 boots. Wait, but we had Sphere 0 boots. Aren't those better?
They are. For those who aren't aware, when you roll cross keys, unless you happen to be playing on the ladder, the boots have been removed from your item pool and replaced with a big 20. Mm-hmm. That 20 actually put Garrison right at 500, too.
Oh, Adilor missing that hook through the block there. So, having to step back into the well as Garrison's going to give us a look at Mini Moldorm Cave. And with the hook shot, sometimes these guys like to wiggle around a lot and dodge your bombs and your sword beams and your magic and, you know...
And your hook shot.
Yeah, and your hook shot. But hook shot does one-shot shoot them down, and that takes care of that. And there's your early Moon Pearl. Okie dokie then.
Well, there's a bow.
We do have the classic Dark World access right now. You can go up Castle Tower, go up and around, and hook shot to West Dark World, if both gloves happen to be there.
I was going to say, we do have West Dark World access by way of the flippers.
Mm-hmm. And I would imagine both runners are probably going to go straight to Eastern Palace, however.
I wouldn't blame them. We have a bow.
It's also a fully in logic crystal, so you got to take care of it eventually. Why not now?
You know, we don't have any of the other components for Dark World access. We don't have a glove, we don't have a hammer.
Yeah, and those could be next to each other in Sahasrarla's little closet, or they could be literally just waiting one behind the other. Or just tucked away somewhere in Dark World. Way too early to tell.
Too many other checks still on the table. I mean, there's 6 of them in the eastern area alone.
Alright, and with both runners setting up the water walk, and they're going to walk all the way to our man under the bridge friend here. And this is, of course, a check that would expect you to have the flippers anyway. We do have them, so might as well just make it faster. And he's only got sticks. That's probably how he built that fire there.
He gave you his extra firewood when he was done.
If only you could just throw it on the fire.
That's about what we did. We didn't have any open space for arrows.
But I can't carry these. What do you think Link does when you get extra bombs or rupees that he can't hold on to?
Well, the rupee one isn't the problem, because unlike in the original, we do have a rupee that hold 9,999 rupees. I've never gotten that close.
And if you ever need that much money in a seed, something is terribly wrong. There's your flute, so we got mountain on the table here.
Okay. Also, I think the answer to if you need that much money is called no logic, and you need a bunch of potions.
I'm willing to say Ag is on life support with that flute just because of how many checks are available on the mountain. And especially if there's something waiting here on King Scamfish.
Good old King Scamfish.
Yeah, the only thing these two can't do right now if they decide to go up in that direction is tackle Tower of Hera. Right now, Hera needs a mirror or a hammer to access.
And on our good friend the King, just a really good life lesson.
No, it's a really bad life lesson. Apparently Garrison wants this piece of heart.
I wonder if he's counting heart pieces and think, is that a multiple of 4?
I think actually he just didn't see it on his way by because he went to blind check it.
Okay, makes sense. If you happen to miss it on your way through, for a moment I thought he was going up to go talk to the... to go open the chest. Then I remembered you can talk to them for a heal.
And Adilor just turns his nose up at the 20 rupees spitting out of Zora's mouth. He says, I don't want your slime money. I guess both runners have the same idea here. Let's see if one of them does mountain and the other one does eastern, or if they both go in the same direction.
I mean, we just got a flute. We have to go activate it immediately.
Well, yeah, you always go turn on your flute as soon as you get it. It allows you to just... It's the can fly of A Link to the Past.
Well, I mean, the duck can fly.
Garrison wants Eastern, so he is going straight in that direction.
Understandable. Clearable crystal. 3 checks in Saha's, and if he wanted to, he can talk to Saha to find out the green pendant.
Ooh, and Adilor wants to look at what's on Desert Ledge. And this is probably going to go straight to Agina here. This is a good little get this Sphere 1 isolated check out of the way. If it happens to have anything, it's an advantage for you. Because you can't tell how long it's going to be until your opponent makes it in this direction.
That might be one of the saddest Saha's hot closets I have seen in my life.
I mean, if you play keys modes, I've had it where it was compass, piece of heart. Oh, that is huge for Adilor. That's a sword we might not see Garrison get for quite some time.
I think I'd rather have the 2 compasses than 6 rupees.
6 rupees is rather sad, yes. Addy with the flute out. I guess he's going mountain because, like me... Oh, no, he's going to Eastern, too. I say, like me, I'd love to push the mountain.
I mean, the mountain hurts if a if a hammer or a mirror are in Eastern.
Yeah, it's a good routing defensible play here.
We've talked about before, but you and me, with Adilor presence, always clear crystal dungeons.
Well, chat seems to agree with the 2 players on the screen. I don't know, I like to route fast and loose, and you know it.
I know.
I see Paradox Cave there, I see Spiral Cave there, I've got 10 checks I can make, I'm going to the mountain. Alright, so Adilor will join Garrison in Eastern Palace. Of course, 3 items here. We haven't seen one yet, but any of them could be something that we may need to progress.
Could be. Of course, it could just be 3 pieces of heart in here, too.
Garrison being a little off-center for that pot toss is going to have to deal with the Stalfos that spawn prematurely here.
Did one of these first 2 items happen to be a big key? I didn't happen to notice.
Cannonball was, in fact, the big key on this one. And the compass in the map spot and a map in the big chest. I mean, we have almost entirely backloaded dungeon here.
I mean, honestly, if it's not in the first 2 checks, it's a pretty backloaded dungeon.
Yeah, it's fair. You always get your good old God Eastern where it's item, item, big key, item, and you just run into Armos.
It's even better if you get that when you have to die of a pendant, then you don't have to go to Armos. Little bit of trouble with the damage boost in back for Garrison.
So far, not much. 3 bombs, 20 rupees, and an item waiting on the boss. So, I mean, we'll have a crystal out of the way, but nothing by way of progression here.
Garrison's currently on track to be our first player with a crystal.
Yeah, but Adilor is not too far behind him. I will say one thing, though. As long as Addy and Garrison continue to take the same line, even if Garrison has a couple hiccups in rooms here and there, it's going to be an uphill battle for Adilor to climb back in. Now, as soon as we get Dark World access, everything's off the table, because it doesn't matter if you make similar decisions. How you decide to route those decisions in what order, is going to be the big call. And just a 10 arrow refill off the Armos Knights. So we'll have our first crystal at just shy of 21 minutes here for Dark Side of the Triforce. And just over 21 minutes for Addy, I would imagine.
And just like that, we're going up the mountain. There's a lot of items up here.
Yeah,
so
this is
makes
basically, short of just climbing Castle Tower, this is really the only play that our runners have left now.
The arrow refill off of Armos Knights is a very nice find, to be honest.
A little more so for Garrison, having the, sword disadvantage at the moment. That could change literally any time now. But just having a ranged weapon and having the ammo for it after killing the boss that asks for you to basically unload your salvo is pretty nice.
And Old Man just pays us some money to be able to save him.
So going to see what's waiting within Spectacle Rock Cave, and today we've got our first glove.
I think we need that.
Maybe just a little bit. I would say that's kind of something that you need to finish the game.
We can't even get into Ganon's Tower legally without both gloves, so...
See, this glove doesn't actually do much for us without a second glove or a hammer.
It actually doesn't do anything for us.
Yeah, any of the glove checks that we might have had, we've already done because Flippers put Zora in logic anyway. And
Pack Escape's already done.
Escape is done because it's standard with a boot start. So the glove is literally just a piece of Dark World for us as we know it at the moment. But I'm imagining there's something else we might need right over here on East Death Mountain.
Are you expecting a glove, a hammer, a book, a mirror, a mushroom?
I'm expecting another glove, honestly.
Wouldn't be the worst place to get another glove. We'd be able to get Dark Death Mountain,
No,
including
Addy,
Hookshot Cave.
no. Addy spending a few extra seconds to set up this bomb jump to save for the save and quit, but I don't know. Is that worth it? It's a nice bomb jump to know, though, especially at entrance modes, because it gives you that extra little bit of information as to where the other side of Spec Rock is, but we're playing standard today.
I'd say that bomb jump is worth it if you have a mirror, because then you can go up to the top level without having to go all the way back up the very long ladder.
And there's your hammer, so we're going to Hera.
We also have Dark World access.
Yeah, just a little bit. Adilor, predetermining he may save and quit from this room, is just going to hit the switch and grab the items, but he's going to want to bomb jump back up here.
I mean, he'd probably want to bomb jump anyways, even if he didn't find the hammer, there's a spiral cave.
That's true. And we do have our first look at Crystal Hera from WGarrison. No mirror, so checking down here, get a small key. Oh boy. I think we're going to see a Hera pod, even if the big key is in the basement here. What do you think?
Almost definitely. Who wants to do the tile room down there?
Alright, so Hera is logically fire-locked.
And that was smooth on that parapet.
Alright, Garrison, no.
Garrison, you don't have the big key. That just... Oh no, there's something in there too!
Oh, that's gotta be a bad feeling. Hopefully what we need is on Moldorm and not something that we have to wait out the basement for, but that is gonna be a wait-and-see kind of moment. Yeah, and Addy also wants to skip the big key. We might be looking at an isolated Hera basement big key for an item in the big chest, and we're hoping... Everyone here is hoping if you're a runner, you don't want to see an item in there.
You and I are both runners. Do we want to see an item in there?
No, sir, I'd rather not. I'd rather see something of value here on Moldorm and nowhere else. Yeah, nice use of the hook shot to kind of abuse the iframes and get in the perfect spot. As soon as the hook retracts, you get your spin, and Moldorm just drops us a big 20.
So, we just got Dark World access. Do you gamble nothing's here?
You're going to have to come back up here for EDM anyway. You're going to possibly be thinking about Ether Tablet or Spike Cave or Turtle Rock if it's a crystal. And at some point, you're going to make that decision. If I don't do Hera Basement now, I'm never going to do it. Again, one of those situations you really don't want to have to face in a decision-making time on a seed, but something you might see our runners decide, nah, it's not worth it, we're just going to go for it. And Addy, also willing to skip the basement big key, so we're going to have an item sitting in Hera's big chest for the remainder of this seed, unless it's something important.
And nothing at Spiral Cave. Where do you go from here? What's your preferred way into the Dark World?
You've got a couple options here. You can go straight to Village of Outcasts via the Kakariko portal and dive right into Skull Woods, which is another full clearable dungeon here. But Garrison decides he wants to make his way possibly over to Pod if it's a crystal, by taking the Hype Cave entrance instead. And looks like Adilor wants to follow suit in that one.
Pendants on... First three are pendants. Green on Skull Woods. That's an interesting pendant layout.
It is indeed, especially with those early flippers basically saying, hey, if you get mitts, just go into Ice Palace here.
I hate to be that guy. We're a mirror from Pedestal.
Don't even say that. I was waiting for Mirror to be on the NPC in Hype Cave after you said that.
Magic Powder's a nice find.
Yeah, powder does give us that extra little bit of safety and a check you can make in Kakariko on your way through. All right, right or left? Right. Garrison wants to go right. Adilor also wants to go right. Okay. So we're going to see Pyramid Catfish from both runners? Is that what this is?
Catfish isn't the worst thing, just because we do have we kind of lack any motivation to go back Catfish unless we do it now.
Ooh, and Garrison having an issue with hook speed on the steps is going to allow Adilor to just kind of run out in front. That's little movement things here and there are going to probably allow for a great number of lead changes, especially if these two decide to make the same decisions as the seed progresses here. Now, Catfish could have something. I don't know.
Currently, the biggest thing in question is, will Garrison ever make it to a Geetos for that sword, too?
Yeah, where's that last sword going to show up is the other part of that, too. If we get our fourth sword just basically in line with everyone else is checking, then Adilor's going to have gold and Garrison will have tempered. And the difference from gold to tempered is nowhere near as drastic as the difference from tempered to master here. What on earth is this seed? We've got a mitt on Catfish?
What are your thoughts on going to ice now?
I would still be tempted to wait for a cane. It looks like Addy wants to go straight to Vu. And Garrison's going to remember to check King's Tomb on the way to Vu. Oh no, he's pulled out the flute and he says no to that too. Interesting. Where's he going? Yeah, he's just going to flute over. Okay, so we're going to Skullwoods, or we're going to Thieves Town.
We're going to Thieves Town. It's a pendant skull.
No, we're going to Skullwoods.
We're going to Skullwoods. Green pendant.
Yeah, this is a play that you make if you're actually going back in the direction of Pod at some point. That you don't want to leave something here that you might need for later. You know, for example, an ice rod, maybe.
Hey, look, our first major divergence.
That brings up an interesting little, the members of the community might look at Skullwoods and go, oh yeah, that's an overworld check. It's easy to get to. It's right off the portal. I'm going to want to step into the front of here eventually anyway. And others may look at it and go, I'm not going there until I have a reason to go there.
There's Silver's at C-shaped house.
Yeah, it's pretty free offense. This seed is actually being rather generous with the offensive options, but we are very much a glass cannon right now. If Addy walks into any of those Gibdos, he's going to take 2 hearts of damage with that Green Mal.
Same with these Ropus here.
Well, Addy's going to take that first chest key and do the rest of the front of Skullwoods, but I think he might save Mothula for later.
I mean, getting to Mothula and then getting back out of Mothula is a time sink.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to check only parts of Skullwoods, I feel like you're either going to do back to front. Ooh. Now
so
you go to
ice play.
Now you go to ice, absolutely. If you go to ice, you could go to Mire, you could go to Turtle Rock if it's openable and the ice rod's just sitting somewhere. We've got options here, folks. It's the other cane! Yay! We don't want to do Spike Cave.
I'm not near as excited to see that one. And not just because the Cane of Samaria is my favorite item. The blue cane is just not that useful to us.
Alright, so... Oof. Not a situation you want to get yourself caught up in. Addy's going to look and see what's going on at Bumper before he decides to progress into what we know is going to be our next crystal in line here with Thieves Town.
Ruby, correct me if I'm wrong. Are we an ice rod and access to the desert from being able to just finish the seed?
Yeah, this seed's talking jet right now. We're not far from just cleaning it up. Of course, the mirror or the book could be in a particularly awful spot. We may need medallions yet for Turtle Rock and Meyer. But other than that, it's just the ice rod. We got everything else we could possibly want.
Are we really in a ice rod and components hunt?
Yes. Now the question is, with that swamp being a pendant, do you think we're going to see a mirror or a book to get to desert?
Honestly, I think a mirror. And I think this because I personally expect book to be one of the many items in Swamp Palace. Also, we're now in the bottom of Thieves' Town.
We do have that small key.
A single arrow.
Gee, I wonder who put that there. Would that be my response to all of the vanilla myths and Thieves' Town seeds that Adilor and I have encountered over the past few months?
I agree with that sentiment. Having played seeds with Adilor in the past as well.
That is
vanilla myths.
That is our first bottle in the Thieves' Town Big Chest as well, which, just kind of adds yet another check we can do in Kakariko. But no mirror to make them convenient as of right now. We might see a mirrorless Smith chain play? What do you feel about that?
We have 2 more clearable crystals.
We do. We have Meyer and we have Ice Palace. Both of them
Meyer
can
assuming we can get in.
Yeah, Meyer assuming we can get in, but still, that's another dungeon that you can just cross off your map if you can just go in and take care of it real quick. With silvers, no hard deal here.
That fight got a little hectic.
Yeah, and when Blind gets away from you and you go off script, you just kind of have to improvise here. And Garrison taking care of that, getting out of there with only 3 hearts, but nonetheless, crystal in hand. Adilor's going to have to be careful up here. He's only got 3 hearts himself. Garrison wants to look at Peg Cave.
I mean, if you're not planning on doing Smith Chain, this is a good time to do Peg Cave.
I still feel like you might do Smiths here. Just because you turning in the Smith without the mirror allows you to check both Sick Kid and Magic Bat in the same tandem. The other alternative, though, is if I'm not doing that, I'm going straight to Ice out of Thieves' Town. I don't even care about this Peg Cave check right now.
I do care about Dig Game and Stumpy while we're here.
Yeah, and that might be another reason you just go ahead and grab the Smith on your way by, because you have Mitts to come back up and do so, and then you just go wherever after you've turned in those 3 checks. If you really think about it, the last known progression we have is Bottle in the sphere, so you would want to check Sick Kid right after getting it, wouldn't you?
Possibly.
Garrison thought about save quit, and then he immediately backed out. So I think, that might be what's on his mind. He might just go straight over to Stumpy here, but yep, that's where he's going.
When else would you check Stumpy at this point, though?
Yeah, if you decide to do what I was just talking about doing and do mirrorless Smiths, this actually becomes super isolated. It's in the middle of the map here, and only has money for us, so it wouldn't have been a big deal, but nonetheless, stays on your mind for a while until you get a mirror.
Ooh, off script in the middle.
Yeah, just missing the end of that sword extension, just grazing the scalp on Blind here. But easily triaged if you can stay with him, and there's a crystal for Oops All Foxes, and we're all knotted up again.
And there's that mirrorless Smith.
Yeah, I feel like if you're talking efficiency and getting out of the way checks, out of the way, you're going to go ahead, do this, get King's Tomb because you remember it's here, and then flute over to Cack, turn into Smith, the bottle, and the powder all in one shot. Not doing King's Tomb. This might be a call for waiting for Mirror if you want to do King's Tomb with Graveyard Ledge.
Because otherwise there's no reason to go back to... That could be important.
Yeah, that I would say, like I said, and we don't know what our Meyer and TR medallion requirements are. That's going to be nice to go into Ice Palace with either way, is that allows us to, just go ahead and do some stuff to Cold Stare without a full magic meter.
Which is especially nice for Garrison on Master Sword.
Yeah, it's going to give him a lot more levity with that Fire Rod in that boss fight, unless the sword happens to come into his grasp here in a moment. We see our first shield sitting on the Smiths. Apparently they're more interested in crafting armor than weapons today.
Well, the best defense is a good offense. I think I said that backwards.
No, that's right. Wolverine will be proud of you. Oh, Addy didn't remember to grab Brewery, or he intentionally, said, I'm going to grab this on my way up. But who knows? Just 20 rupees and this Peg Cave? Garrison's going to flute to 2. He's going to grab a potion, because I believe this would probably say I'm going to Ice or Meyer. If I was going to route it this way, I'm going to Ice first here. And someone in chat asking where our other sword is that Adilor had. It was in Agina's cave, a check that he decided to make before going to Eastern that Garrison did not. I'm still curious about both runners not doing King's Tomb, Zeke.
Only slightly.
So Addy will go ahead and turn his Smith in for a shield and get his extra heart off of the magic bat. And let's see if he decides that Ice is also the play.
Small key start for Ice Palace. Not something I'm against seeing early, because it does open up some routing differences. Like, say, maybe going to Ice Tea from the top.
And Garrison is going to Ice Break here without flipping the switch, so we're looking at a full clear. We're going to want the big key to finish, and after a little bit of wiggling, he does make it through the barrier here, and nice vanilla big key game.
Isn't it always?
No.
True, I think our one we played recently, you and I, was a first check big key instead.
Yeah, so following in the footsteps, Addy changing his mind. He fluted to 8, and then he said, I should probably grab a potion.
He wants
That's
potion.
probably smart. Even though he's got a little bit of an easier Cold Stare fight on the table here, you want that extra bit of defense. Ice Palace is one of those places you really do not want to take an unintentional death. Even though Icebreaker makes it faster to go through, it's not how you'd like to waste an extra few minutes to run through a dungeon you've already cleared.
I think that leaves an item on Ice Tea. And the corner just kind of got in the way there.
Still got to see what's going on with Cold Stare, too, after Ice Tea. If Ice Tea has the other dungeon item here. Nope, that's our third item. So, boss fight number 4 for our runners. coming up for Garrison, and in a couple minutes for Addy.
Can't say I'm the biggest fan of having to do a Master Sword Cold Stare, but better than Swordless.
And to be completely honest, even with Master Sword Cold Stare, you've got Bombos to make the fight a little bit nicer in the beginning. He did pick up a potion, so he could just burn it. We're not exactly hurting for money on this seed. You see Garrison with 744, Adilor with 681, so replacing a blue potion is about as easy as one to... Oh, hi there, Witch's Hut. How are you? Zeke, this is slowly devolving into an Ice Rod hunt for real.
You noticing that, huh?
Yep, and I don't like Ice Rod hunts, and everybody here probably has the same sentiment. Ooh, Garrison, please don't take another one of those, because that will be lethal. We got shouts in chat for Pendant Pod. What do you think about that?
I don't think I'm allowed to say it.
I mean, you would know better than I would, sir. There are some choice words that some of us would use for Pendant Pod, and some of us would already be in there, like 10 minutes ago. I'm still an advocate of the mountain here. I want to see Mountain or Mire area. I feel like one of those two dungeons is going to be clearable as soon as we discover it.
With what Ice Rod?
You know, the one that's sitting on Laser Bridge, of course. Adilor just straight up skipping the big key chest. I'm a little curious about that one.
Third item.
Or the big chest. He did get the third item. That's right. He went up and around, didn't he? Okay.
He did.
That's the one circumstance where this might save you a little bit of time. Now, Garrison is going to show us the Mire area.
Oh. Is not getting the Agena Cave check before going to Mire.
And you can't really blame him. Walking back out of Agena's Cave is kind of slow. We're going to see whether or not we can get into Mire and finish it off after this. Oh, we can. It's Quake.
We've been able to do it for an hour now. Or about 45 minutes. 40 minutes.
I'm going to say, an hour. That would mean we started the seed at a timer of -14. Now, chat's saying Garrison forgot Agena. I think it's less a situation where he forgot and more he's not interested in the check right now. He's more about finishing off these crystals as they come to fruition. And these two items in Mire and a clearable crystal is more important than a one-off check in Sphere 1 that you're not going to be able to go ahead and walk back out from easily. Agena is a typical save and quit point for a reason. And not to mention, we have silver arrows, so this Vitreous fight is nothing to scoff at for Garrison. It's going to be, with red mail, you got to be a little bit careful that you don't accidentally get lightninged or something, but it's not as risky a maneuver as doing it without silvers. Looks like Adilor also wants a piece of this action. He's going to go ahead and flute to 6 and join us in Mire.
Just constantly... It's kind of interesting commentary race where they're on top of each other.
There's been little wrinkles here and there. Adilor's made a couple extra cursory checks in some areas that Garrison's decided not to go to yet, which does put more on the table for Garrison to have to clean up later if an item's in a root spot. But other than that, it's been pretty neck and neck the whole way through here.
The two key first two checks in Mire. So the question on what's here on the left side comes down to where's that last small key.
Yeah, Yeah, this is where key logic could kind of play in. If you see the big key here, you have an absolute opportunity of the other item of the two items being anywhere. If you see a small key here, you know your big key's in cutscene. You see an item here, so it could be either way. And I feel like this is how you should tackle it, not knowing if it's going to be a key on the right side, a dungeon item, or the big key. You go straight to cutscene and just take this check out of your mind. You don't want to leave it for the opportunity of leaving something later if you just go ahead and clear the dungeon and go, oh, well, I left an item in cutscene. I guess I'm not getting this seed.
You know what the rudest spot for an ice rod would be right now?
Oh, do tell.
Hera big chest.
Oh, that would be catastrophic for both players. If you missed it, both runners decided not to get the big key out of Hera basement. They did a Hera pod up the tower and cleared it up that way. Right, dungeon item guaranteeing the big key is on the right side or in the lobby.
I've grown to hate that spike chest in Misery Mire sometimes.
Shed some light on that for me.
You don't always have 12 hearts going in here.
That's true. And if you don't have an invincibility item, that chest is either something you're going to be able to get and hate, or something that you're not getting at all because you walked in that room with 1 heart and no invincibility.
Oh hey, it's our favorite check to put items in. It's this check with a big key.
Woo, exciting. Garrison deciding not to go to the big chest? He's going... Well, no, he's going to go around the long way? I'm a little confused. And yet another bottle, so no progression in Mire. I'm telling you. If it's not Pendant Pod, it's got to be on the mountain. And I love when Mitts say, go to Hookshot Cave.
Yeah. At this point, what are our density plays? Mountain, Pendant Pod.
That's about it. We do have a green pendant and an item in the... Oh no! Garrison hooked into the Wizrobe and takes a death in Mire.
4 hearts of damage. And that is why green mail is scary, even for runners of this level.
Yeah, we're talking about endgame dungeons. Things down here hurt. The minimum amount of hearts that most mobs will do in dungeons 5, 6, and 7 in the Dark World is like 2. These Wizrobes will do 4. 4 is all he had.
There's only 1 enemy type in here to... excuse me, there are 2 enemy types in this dungeon that do less than 1 heart of damage. The Stalfos and the Popos. I can't believe there's Popos in the second to last dungeon before GT.
Alright, so our second item here in the big chest, so it's just a crystal on Vitreous. That gave Adilor a little bit of precious time that he needed to catch up here, but they're going to kind of meet maybe 15-20 seconds apart at Vidi. So we can't talk about any Dark Mire strats here, because we had a very, very, very early lamp. We are going to see Garrison set up for Spooky, however.
Spooky action.
Well, Garrison, when you died, you reset the switch for the dungeon, so spookying that wasn't actually the right call.
That's just muscle memory.
Yeah, that's easy to do, especially when you're just so used to coming down here. Ooh, did Addy get it too? But Addy's coming in from the switch already being flipped. I think he didn't have it set. And just like that, we're 1 room apart again. High five. Yeah, Adilor does not have spooky arms, so this room he'll cost a couple seconds, and we're going to see a bunch of glittery arrows blinding every single one of these eyeballs.
Which, honestly, not knowing Garrison is unfortunate because that's the best track in his MSU.
It is indeed, and there's your guaranteed key on Vitreous. And a 4th crystal for Triforce and a 4th crystal for Foxes.
We're pretty much a crystal fanfare apart right now.
Yeah, and it was closer to a minute, but that mire allowed Adilor to kind of sneak back in here.
And it looks like Garrison is going straight for Dark Death Mountain.
And is Adilor going to flute out? He is fluting away, and no, he decided not to. So we're going to see Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny Cave in tandem here.
We've had both runners following each other's footsteps the entire run. It's kind of interesting.
Uh-oh, the trackers have gone way of the dinosaur here. So everybody give our tracker today, No Chivato, a big pat on the back, as he's going to catch us up here on what each of our runners has and what they have done. Now, do you want to see Ether on this, TR? Why did I say anything at all?
Why did you say that? And from our tracker correction, I know we're in a bit of a panic from that, but Adilor does not have a magic mirror.
Yeah, there's gosh. So we need Ether, and Ether is almost certainly going to be under the map here. Oh, there's mirror.
Now we have a mirror.
All right. Well, that's not really something you want to see, except that it is. That's your access to desert.
So, back to the desert area?
I would have to think, maybe? Oh, I'm almost afraid of Pendant Swamp here now. Oh, no. You're still looking for Ice Rod even after this mirror. And now you're looking for Ether, too. And like the Ice Rod, that can be anywhere except the dungeon that requires it and the GT behind it. Never mind. That
front doorstep?
Yep.
So, we're officially on an Ice Rod hunt now.
Hi, everybody. You came to watch a casual boot seed. Instead, you get Ice Rod Hunt. Yay! Garrison deciding to mirror, and I would imagine he just goes ahead and... Oh, he's going to flute off. Uh-oh. This has got to be desert, right? Yeah, it is.
It's absolutely desert. Adilor's going to make use of the blue cane.
Uh-huh, and this is something Addy knows we can do in Logic, but Garrison's not willing to do right now, and that is Spike Cave. Because Addy's got an invincibility item from the front of Skull Woods. That's an area that Garrison hasn't dove into yet. We know the Ice Rod's not there unless it's sitting in the back on Mothula, or the Green Bandit for that matter. We're one item from Go Mode here, and that item could be basically anywhere. Alright, so we're going to see... I would say it's a small key in this map chest, right? Yep.
Yep.
So right side for the big key, possibly in its vanilla location. I feel like if you get an item right side here, you just go straight to Moldorm... No, not Moldorm, Lamulus. Who am I talking about? And Adilor's going to join us in Desert, you know. As these two runners have done for the entire past hour. By the way, give these two a follow. WGarrison, Adilor Soltaire here on Twitch. Hit that exclamar for me. Very good runners. Both placed pretty well in the bracket stages of Challenge Cup this past year, and they're putting out there what they've got for us on the screen in a best-of-3 series. Fox is up 1-0. Best-of-3. Best-of-5, excuse me.
And Garrison's making the gamble to go for the boss before Big Chest, 50-50.
Now, a lot of the time, this actually just works, because if the item's on the boss, you save yourself some time, go over to checkerboard, and just flute back out.
And hopefully for Garrison, he remembers to go to Agina's cave as well.
He might not, unless he plans on save quitting again at some point here, but... I would really depend on whether he feels like he's ahead, behind, what he needs to do, where he might think the Ice Rod is, and we might see some true wholesale divergence here. If you really think about it, yeah, Pendant Swamp is fully available, Pendant Pot is fully available, Pedestal suddenly in Logic. At what point do you just not like what the seed's given you?
I mean, I don't like that there are 11 items in Pendant Dungeons right now.
So, Addy decided to go back for the big chest and gets his piece of heart, so he'll be able to just, just leave. Well, he'll still want to go back to his portal for checkerboard, but he'll still be able to just leave. By the way, huge shout-outs to our tracker again. Nochibato's got these 2 trackers that reset on us about 5 minutes ago and put them right back where they were. Honest bang-up job here. Killing it and keeping us honest, and we'll keep him honest too. Alright, so Garrison will pick up his piece of heart, mirror back out. He's going to be right by his portal, so this is actually a minor time save for him.
Can I just, say... The, question I have is, where are the armor upgrades?
Well, if there's not one here in checkerboard, call me a liar. Well, it's blue.
You're a liar.
Well, Garrison is going to make a play that's going to be very nice for him moving forward here, followed by a save and quit, as you see the liars in chat. We're going to see him pick up his Tempered Sword, and suddenly we'll be on equal footing once again, with a couple checks made by Adilor still that haven't been made by Garrison yet. But those are easy to get back to, that Skullwood's play. With Green Pendant in the back, could be weighing on our runners' minds here.
Here's the real question. Do you gamble?
Do you go into TR, is what you're asking.
There are 6 items in the Turtle Rock vicinity. First you do Pyramid Fairy.
I feel like this actually might be swamped to Pyramid Fairy, but we'll call me a liar again in a second as both runners just go grab the red bomb, right?
I'm ready.
Yeah, once again. And they're both thinking about, oh, Adilor's making the play. I feel like if you're going to do swamp, you have to do it now.
You do.
Because you've just isolated swamp if you're Garrison. You're going up to the red bomb, and you're probably going to pod from there. And have we seen Pyramid? Yeah, we have. We saw both runners do Pyramid Catfish. Yeah, this seed. Every seed is going to have one bad spot that one player is either going to check slower or faster, or just not check at all versus their opponent. And Pyramid Fairy could be it. Swamp Palace could be it. You don't know until you're there.
I know you like the swamp play.
Oh, I love the swamp play. When swamp comes into play, it's my last known progression. I've got to do it.
I mean, it makes sense. Mirror was your last progression.
That's the problem still lies in that Ice Rod could literally be anywhere. It could be right here in the pyramid. Well, that's not it, but that's pretty nice to have. And the big key is probably something you'd rather see in the front, but you don't want to see a compass or a map in the next check here. I feel like Adilor is going to full clear the Swamp Palace, and Garrison is going to... Oh, he's going straight for the Graveyard Ledge King's Tomb play that I've been wondering why both runners have been dodging King's Tomb. This is why. You always combo it with Graveyard Ledge if you can.
At the moment, K45 is pretty orphaned right now.
Yeah, K45's way out there. The only thing that might bring our runners back in that direction would be a book to check bombos and then run back up, but I don't think even that's on the table.
Because you have a flute. You're going to flute to purple chest turning.
Yeah, we see another bottle for, a B sitting in King's Tomb. So we could have made that sick kid check coming back into Vu the first time instead of having to sweep around after Thieves Town. I think this might be a little bit of playing into the other player's tendency to route certain things in or out here.
Yep.
And Graveyard Ledge being something that someone not really apt to check. Going Independent Swamp early, not something that someone might be apt to check. And some of us out here are clamoring for Ice Rajas sitting on Laser Bridge. So, I mean, there's any number of different ways someone could tackle this hunt. And we're seeing 2 of them on the screen right now.
Left side swamp.
Left side swamp. We do know there's at least 1 item on left side swamp, as I believe Addy did see a compass. Now listen, chat always calls for one of the worst case scenarios, and in this case that would be a Laser Bridge Ice Rod. That's not me calling for it. That's a history of all y'all calling for it.
I mean, I'll be honest, I want it. Because that's the play I would have made.
All right, go -1. Do you do left side swamp if you do swamp at all? Addy says yes. Let's see what's sitting over here. We've got, well, it's blue.
Well, you're blue.
Shush. And the other one is, well, it's red.
So that means left side swamp was kind of a bust. But it won't be on Adilor's mind.
Right, it's not something he's going to have to go back in for. It's not something he's going to have to think about if he leaves it in a go -1 situation as we are in right now. And Garrison deciding to make the play to the back of Skull Woods. I think this is preparing for Pendant Pod.
It makes sense. It's unfortunate that the green pendant is on the pendant that's right next to the pedestal.
And with no book to read the pedestal, you don't know if you need to collect all of your pendants or not.
And I'm of the opinion that when you have... Oh, finally, armor. And
oh
ice
my
rod
god, it's
swamp.
just here. It's just here, and that puts Adilor in go mode. At
okay.
106.40, Adilor has a Swamp Palace Ice Rod, and he's just going to Turtle Rock because he's done.
And he has an armor upgrade to boot.
Yeah, all the blue items in one spot? You don't say.
Unfortunately, this green pendant could lead Garrison the pendant pod first.
And that, like I was saying just before, I felt like this was a play setting up for Pendant Pod because you don't want to go to the pod area without the green pendant. Otherwise, you isolate the green pendant turn-in entirely.
Unfortunately takes a hit and doesn't get to do what a lot of runners want to do on Restream. Go fast through the waffle rocks.
Alright, we are going to see Mothula for WGarrison. There aren't that many things that could really lead him too much more astray. We could see a shovel. We could see a mushroom. We could see a book. But you have to wonder, at what point do you make your way down to Pendant Swamp? At what point do you believe that Pendant Swamp is the play?
After Pendant Pod and Garrison's situation.
Yeah, that's... Oh, there's a cape.
Bumper ledge is empty, we know that.
Both invincibility items were sitting in Skull Woods on this seed.
That's terrible. I hope that 2 invincibility items doesn't get taken as a hint to go to Scuffbite Cave.
Garrison does have one slight advantage over Adilor right now, and that's the half magic. Adilor does have that extra blue potion that he just picked up from the potion shop, so he's in good shape. This is 5 going to pod. and turning in the green pendant. Actually, I think he's just going to go ahead and turn the green pendant now, and then flute back, instead of adding an extra mirror transition. Meanwhile, we get to see what kind of key layout Turtle Rock has for us today. I'm going to say that Piece of Heart on Sahasrahla is definitely better than 10 Arrows or the Green Ruby of Eternal Glory. Or, you know, a Compass in Keysanity.
Garrison, are you?
Oh no, this might be Spike Cave, but I think he is. He's going to
no.
gamble on it, and it's not going to pay out. He's going to get that mushroom and check that too.
And you can't make the...
Oh yeah, you cannot save your
save.
portal, because if you try and it's in Swamp, you lose your portal. You have to run in through twice. Oh man, this is the ultimate feels bad. Is gambling that the Ice Rod is in TR when it's not, and then getting the one check you might want to make before going into Pendant Pod, that being the mushroom, and then that's not it. And then you go and clear out all the Pendant Pod, and then that's not it. And you just end up in that terrible little, oh my goodness, what am I doing wrong sort of mindset. And you got to hope that that doesn't bite Garrison on this one.
Chain Chomps are having a little bit of fun with Adilor today.
Silly Chain Chomps. Fox is not Chew Toy. Fox is Fox.
I will point out the slight humor that after so long of Adilor being a few rooms behind Garrison in the same dungeon, the tables have turned.
Yeah, you've got a wholesale divergence resulting in Go Mode in Addy's favor, but also they are now in the same dungeon. One of them can clear it. The other one is still looking for an item that's not here.
I like that comment in chat. Maybe there's a second Ice Rod on Laser Bridge.
What about second Ice Rod? What about the extra boot? What about the second boot? Where's the other boot going to be? You've already seen it, but...
We've already seen the extra boot. It was in the floodgate.
What about Sword 4?
Pedestal.
Vanilla sword on pedestal. No, you gotta have true Go Mode on pedestal. Put the bug net there.
No, the bug net's in tile room.
Ew. Alright, so Adilor does have the big key, does have a small key, so he's going to go ahead and just skip this big chest, say, I don't want it. And if there's a key here, we can just say no to Laser Bridge. Well, now we got to say yes to Laser Bridge.
Yeah.
Now, I did have last night a situation where there were no keys on Laser Bridge, so this could actually come back in that low percentage chance to bite Adilor.
That would be such a weird occurrence.
Yeah, that would mean a big chest key is required. Oh no! Okay.
What was... Oh no.
Adilor accidentally going up on the platform instead of down, but luckily there's a loop right there and he got back on track easily. That's a compass. And the only other thing I think you'd want to see here is probably another mail upgrade. There's the key. Adilor's just gone.
And we're out. Let's go for this Trinix. You know why they call him Trinix, right?
Because he has 3 necks.
No, but that's a good reason.
There's the bug net! Okay. Well, no more guessing where the bug net is. It's just too much fun. We do have this big turtle guy on the screen here. Adilor is going to take a shot and 5 swipes at each of the heads here. And then Giant Rock Monster will explodey bits into a rock snake instead and start charging them around the arena. After
trying to take a couple of bites out of Adilor.
I thought we already tried telling the chain chomps this. Fox is not snack.
You think the chain chomps told Trinex? What do you think's here in Mimic Cave?
10 arrows.
I was gonna say 20 rupees.
20 rupees is always a safe bet. There's 28 of them in the main item pool. That is our 7th crystal. Garrison deciding to leave a little powder on the nose of the Mimic there. This is our 7th crystal for Adilor, so he's going to enter Ganon's Tower, and we have anywhere from 1 to check 22 where that Ganon's Tower big key may be waiting. So if you have a guess that you like to leave in chat, feel free. No bot for this season, but nonetheless, it's a fun game we like to play.
As usual, I feel 13. So
I'm going to say 8. Let's go with 8. Let's say Trey Spire, they're our restreamer. By the way, thank you, Trey, for putting this race on the air for us today. He also likes the number 8, so that's what he's going with.
there's also I also have a couple of other numbers I like here. 7 would be a good one. 18. Anything but 22.
Notice how nobody in chat guessed 22 today. That's unusual. Yeah, Compass Room for check 1 is $100, and we have a key, so we might see Addy just go over to Compass, which Compass Room. This is Hope Room. Alrighty, so let's see, checks 3, 4, 5, and 6 here in Compass Room. And you do see we have a blue potion for Adilor, so he's not worried about his magic meter. Of course, there's a big magic drop if he wants it, but he's going to leave it there.
It's out of the way to go grab that one.
Yeah, you got a hook shot, and did we not see a boomerang on the seat? We haven't seen
not
any
seen
boomerang.
a single boomerang. It's kind of, there's the book!
No, not the book. That's one of the worst things you can get looking for Ice Rod. Alright, so here comes the door save for WGarrison. He's going to mirror out. And where he goes next is... oh, boy. He's going to check Ether first off, because he's got the book. And, you know, Ether, if you don't go up to it now, you're not going to it at all. Oh, does he do Hera? Does he go get the big key to Hera here?
No, not the big key to Hera!
No!
I mean, yes, if you are up here anyways, now is when you do it.
Oh,
but also,
yeah.
no!
Yes, 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 no, no, no. That's a lot of keys here in Stalfos Room. Wow, we're going to leave here with 4 keys. And Addy gets some nice magic drops. I believe that's our stun prize, actually, a small magic.
That's kind of good to know about.
And 10 arrows sitting in the map chest with the sociable fire bars. And yep, here comes Tower of Hera for Garrison.
Oh no!
This is exactly what I might have been afraid of early on when neither of these players decided to do the big key chest, the big key chest to the big key, or the big chest rather. And now that it's down to the Ice Rod, this is one of those places that end up being on your mind. And you combo it with Hera. And we might see him leave Spike Cave too.
And we are continuing to wonder, where is the Ganon's Tower big key? Because we just passed check number 13, I think.
Was that the last key?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
That logically allows Rando Room to have the key.
It does, so it could be here. It could also allow Tile Room to have the key. And while Rando Room has a shield, and there's our boomerang.
There's a boomerang! I wondered where they were. They do always come back.
We're getting awfully close to having a full tracker for either runner here. Adilor is not going to be picking up his book, but Garrison may still come across a shovel.
For all we know, it's up here in the Hera Big Chest. Wouldn't that be awful?
For all we know, it's right here behind Ice Armos. I could dig that. Alright. Oh, another super smooth Hera pot. That hook speed Hera pot looks real good when it's done right.
Uh-huh.
Lots of cool tech in this game between Icebreaker, Diver Down, Parapod, Hammer Yump, one of the NMG classics. $300 in the Hera Big Chest, not something Garrison wanted to see.
That first shot with silvers in this room always lags the room out so bad.
And part of it's just this icy tiled floor that just adds that much more the game has to think about to render when you've already added other things to it. And here's Garrison going for the big key is behind Ice Armors. And this is what I thought. Yeah, that would be check 20, so nobody gets it today. Not right on the money anyway, because I didn't see any numbers starting in 2, other than maybe 2. But I did see a couple 18s. So if you felt like guessing 18 today, you're probably the closest. Well, did Orange guess 20? No, he just guessed 20.
Orange,
can't guess when you've already seen it. Come on now, that's not fair. A Mirror Shield coming in handy to take care of the red Gorillas here.
And we're going to go up Gan's Tower. So what do you think's on this mushroom turn-in?
10 arrows.
3 bombs.
The other boomerang! And Garrison is going to leave it there. Oh, no respect for the red meringue. What's wrong with you, my friend? Oh, come on now. You got to give that to us. Wouldn't you rather have a boomerang than no boomerang? Come on now. For real. Oh, is this going to be purple chest?
Well, he saved and quit, so I think he saved and quit already, so I think he's lost his portal.
Yeah, he saved and quit out of Spike Key. That's one thing I was afraid that he might do, and he opted for it. You could have run out of Spike Key, but at that point, you can't even save your portal anymore. You'd have to go back through Turtle Rock to make a new one.
With us not saving the portal, I think that makes Swamp a better density play now.
Oh, chat telling us he died somewhere? Question mark?
Did he die in... Oh, no.
Oh, he intentionally died in Spike Cave to save his portal. Yeah, he took an intentional death in Spike Cave to save his portal. That's actually pretty heads up.
Yeah. Where are we going to Death Warp with 14 hearts green in the Dark World? Off of a Hinox, probably, actually.
Yeah, you're still in green mail, so those Hinox are going to do a lot of damage. Now, unfortunately, with this portal here, he no longer has the TR portal.
At this point, there's more mirror checks than there are not mirror checks. And there's the 4th bottle.
Yeah, and that one's got an extra life in it, basically, and we're not even worried about that at this point. 14 hearts green mail is the kind of stuff you expect to see when playing in one of our power modes, Hard Item Pool. Effectively available both as MC Shuffle or Enemizer, which you will probably be seeing in the coming week, and I can guarantee that we'll be seeing on Sunday as these two teams have their 3rd game.
That's correct. Your team, or excuse me, Darkside's power player has opted to use Hard Enemizer as their power mode.
Ooh, Adilor, please don't let the eye stare at you like that. Ouch. Even on blue mail, those hurt. Yeah, but with nothing else to really want at this point of the game, Addy's going to go ahead and just bypass most of these checks, if not all of them. Yep, not even opening Primoldorm. He's feeling ready.
The good news is... Where are you going, Garrison? Oh no, did we get the shovel?
Oh, dear goodness. Shovel on Bombos, so he's going to double on back, check the shovel. This takes him away from Swamp Palace, which he was right there. He was right there, man. Oh, I don't like Ice Rod Hunt for this reason. It's just a volatile way to end a seed.
I mean, I don't blame him for going... There's the other...
Well, okay then. That's locked by the book on Laser Bridge. Of course it is. Agatu for Adilor. This is a good old geometry lesson. Can you deflect the shots back on the right angle to hit Aghanim? Or is he going to blue ball you? No blue balls on that first one.
That looked like a single hit to me.
that counted as 3 balls hitting at once. That's a double, though.
That was a blue ball.
Yeah, that was... the blue balls come into play, and if he gets off sync, they can actually be quite disorienting to make you have to step out, because there is no HP regen coming from Agatu to Ganon. So if you start taking hits, those are all 1 heart apiece.
And we're doing some celebratory dancing while we wait for Ganon to fly away.
Oh, don't celebrate just yet. You still got to take care of Ganon proper here.
I mean, what are you going to do when you're waiting for the Ganon bat to fly away?
You know, I don't know. I'd say put on the book and just start hitting the use button so you just get the buzzer music of Siren Song of My People. But come on now.
I mean, Adilor doesn't have that option.
I'm aware. So we have a Tempered Silvers fight for Adilor, and let's see if he gets the 1-1. Oh, he's not even going. Yeah, he is. Oh, he's got it. Nice Trident spin. Nice position to get a spin in if you can't on the Trident. Just 1 shot short, though.
And not a great spot for Ganon here, either.
Will we see the Ice Rod before Ganon falls? That is a good question. It depends on whether or not Garrison decides to go for left side swamp here. And getting those extra couple licks in for good measure. I think that should do it for Phase 2 Ganon. Oh, I thought that next one was going to clip him good. And that'll lead to a couple extra shots here, and then we'll get to shove a few silver darts into Ganon's little hide here and call it good. Garrison is going to go ahead and do the typical thing where you just come down here, and this could be bad if he decides to chase the fact that there's a dungeon item down here. Or at least it'll feel bad for Garrison. Here's the map. And Addy's setting up to get some silvers into Ganon. Here's the second shot. Oh, he's going to skip left side, so he'll get a nice rod. And red mail, actually. Oh, Adilor, please. Okay.
Addy, please don't die.
And that's it. Right there is the 4th arrow. So let's see some GGs in chat for Adilor as he will dispatch Ganon. And that is the Ice Rod for WGarrison as Adilor crosses the bridge and finishes first with a time clocked in on race time, 1:26.21. And I do have to report that's all Garrison needed to see. As soon as he has his go mode and his opponent is done, he's going to hang him up and live to fight another day. But that's game 2 here in the books for Foxes. And let's get some GGs in chat for both our runners here today.
Yeah, absolutely a good game. Fantastic race to call. And we'll see if Adilor and Garrison want to join us in the commentary booth. And we're joined in the commentary booth by Adilor and WGarrison. GG's to both fantastic runners.
Hello, GG's.
Hello and GG's.
GG's, guys. Would you believe that on the screen you were basically decision for decision with a couple wrinkles up until right after Meyer?
Yes.
I mean, that's my MO, apparently.
All right.
But when I raced User Rubian, we were decision for 45 minutes.
That was this game, too. Apparently, the foxes like to follow you.
That's funny.
Don't word it like that. You make it sound like he's faster than us.
I mean, Garrison was the one leading for the entire seed.
Yeah, there were some moments that I thought maybe someone was going to make a call. And Addy, there was one where you went to the middle of Skullwoods with the fire rod. Is there a particular reason why you didn't feel like just going to take care of Malthula then and there?
Didn't feel like it.
Didn't feel like it. That's fair. That's
Didn't feel like fighting Moth. I mean, Moth would not have been super difficult at that point, but my later on thinking is that if I was going to fight Moth, it would have been as the third pendant, and then I would pull Ped blind after that if I didn't have the book already.
I can only sit here and nod at that. That's kind of the trendy way to do. Even if you don't have a mirror, you have to imagine that in a pedestal type seed, you're going to see the mirror show up before you even think about facing off with Mothula. But at the same time, Moth was the green pendant. So Garrison, that's a play you decided to make. Was there any thought to your mind that you might trace GP in with Pod, for example?
Pod was dead forever.
I approve of this decision.
So no.
Thank you.
Pendant Pod is dead.
Hey, chat,
No.
You heard it here first. Pendant Pod is dead.
So here's the thing. I got the mitts really early, and apparently Adilor did too.
Yeah.
And I decided that I was going to chase mitts, and my thought process was, if anybody gets mitts really late, then they're going to do pod. The only thing that could be in pod is the ice rod. And if they got that, mitts kind of ends up being, I mean, Mirror's pretty free with mitts. I just lose if ice rod's in pod, so it's dead forever. I'm never going. And then if somebody else gets mitts early and they have the same train of thought, then we both last locate ice rod and pod, and it's a race.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Palace of Darkness being one of those things, if you both went to Eastern right away with that bow, the lamp, everything that basically said, hey, come do this, so get it out of the way, it's a crystal. But at that point, pod is just hyper isolated.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no reason to really go there until it's one of the last things you have to do.
I mean, we have flute, hammer, gloves. It's not that isolated.
But it's still a
It
run
just-
up to the dungeon. I mean,
Yeah, it's not super bad. I mean, if it wasn't in Swamp, I probably would have done like K45 Pyramid Fairy, maybe Hammer Pegs Purple, and then probably just said, all right, let's just go to pod. Let's just bite the bullet, because maybe it's actually there. But we didn't get that far.
yeah, that's what I had for you, Garrison. What made you do Pyramid Fairy instead of going into Swamp?
Swamp takes a while. It was just a call. There's just a point in time which you have to say that TR is just a play, and you have to skip some things, and it's an ice rod hunt. It's a gamble, and you just pick when you're gonna make the play, and I just picked wrong.
And that's why we don't like ice rod hunts.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really.
It's hard to say what the right play is. I mean, ice rod hunts just are what they are, and see if you get lucky.
Yeah, it's definitely the epitome of you just got to win the rando, basically. You got to guess the right place, because it can be pretty much anywhere. So, yeah.
Well, chat's saying the obvious solution is the right play is to get Ice Rod. Well, I mean, clearly. But then if you get Ice Rod early, TR is a pendant, so you can't win, you know?
Just find the ice rod forehead, you know.
Yeah, not exactly how anyone would want to write this one up going to end in an Ice Rod hunt, because everything else just comes right at your fingertips here.
Oh yeah, the seed was lovely to play. Honestly, it had this kind of nice back and forth of, all right, we've got some dungeons. All right, oh, okay, we're done with the crystal dungeons. Let's find some stuff to do more crystal dungeons. Like, oh look, I can do a couple more dungeons, just back and forth, and then it was nice to play. Very nice compared to today's daily. I rolled today's daily. Don't play
It was
Don't play it.
nice until you pulled Mirror and Ether off of the mountain, and you're just like, well, we've
Decision time.
You do all the crystals that you could do off the mountain, and then it just go coin flip, or just roll the dice and see. I think the other reason why I didn't do Swamp is just skipping pendant dungeons, if they're available to be skipped, just saves a ton of time. And in my mind, pod was already dead, so that I still wanted to skip another pendant, and it's just Swamp. If somebody had gotten mitts and they had to do pod, and pod wasn't the answer, and the answer was Swamp, I could still check TR and then get into a swamp, I think, faster, because I think my opponent would also be like, oh, I have to skip swamp, do TR, and end up in the same position.
And then
it just
TR
turned
gave
out-
you all the fetch quests.
Yeah. They weren't too horrible, because the fetch quests at least gave me the chance of getting Ice Rod still. But I mean, if I didn't do those fetch quests, it wasn't going to save me an entire TR dip and GT climb, because I was done walking out of swamp. Like, that's not the amount of time the fetch quest saved me.
No.
Well, we do have a game 3, and that is coming up on Sunday at 6:10 Eastern. And I believe John Snoo decided that we want to play Hard Enemizer. Any thoughts from you two on this one?
That's not me.
I would take that game, actually. I like Enemizer. Let me add it. I mean, if I ever have an opportunity to select Enemizer over like hard or MC or Swordless in particular, like for a power game, I guess in a game 4 or whatever, depending on the team's workout, I'm picking that because I think I enjoy it a lot. So I like Enemizer. I play it a lot in multi-world. It's fun.
Maybe there was a reason we weren't letting you have it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you were thinking about the game 4, yeah, potentially. Don't give me Enemizer because I'll probably just win it.
Well, it's not over until we see Chloe and John go at it. So that game 4, I'd start thinking just in case.
Oh yeah.
In either situation.
I have my plan for game 4 already laid out.
I mean, John's scary.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be. It's not
You've
going to be an
already
easy match.
raced John, Addy. You
Yeah,
know what he can do.
I know. We had the crazy fast Kaz boots of the league, and he beat you by like 4 minutes in it. I'm aware. It will not be an easy game if we have to have a game 4, but I'm ready for it.
And hopefully that one doesn't come down to an Ice Rod hunt. Either Sunday's game or whatever game 4 comes out to be on whenever that gets scheduled, if it's needed. But let's just give another round of GGs to WGarrison and Adilor. As, again, very close race. Very much just, decisions at the very end are the real story of this one. But for almost an hour, we were basically in the same room at any given time.
Yeah, that's not surprising. The seed definitely let you kind of just do the natural thing, and I'll definitely have to. I'm looking forward to watching this one still, just to see really how kind of perfectly lined up it was. But yeah, not surprising at all.
Yeah, I definitely want to watch it back.
I mean, Addy, it's Zaru on comms. That's part of why you want to watch back.
I mean, also yes, I want to hear how much he goofed on us during the whole thing.
But with that, do we have any other final thoughts about the seed?
No, just GG again. This is fun. I'm glad it's really thrilling just to like be in playoffs, and I look forward to seeing what more we have in store for us.
Yeah, I'm just glad to be in playoffs, and I mean, Ice Rod hunts always get a little bit awkward, but for the most part, the seed was still a pretty fun seed. Managed to keep my nerves in check a little bit more than usual, which is good. But
I was crazy nervous for like the last 15 minutes. I was like, oh man, what if he's on the same route and just slightly ahead of me on execution? Like, come on.
I'm just hoping that we do get to see the game 4 and game 5, because there's a lot more interesting game modes that could be had this season.
Yeah, like any game 5 is gonna be really interesting because co-op reference is a real heck of a mode. I know some teams have been like practicing for it and making their game really strong. So I as much as you really like, man, game 5s are, you hate to have to like get to a game 5 as a participant, but it's kind of gonna be kind of exciting to see from a spectator standpoint.
All right. Well, once again, I'm going to invite y'all to follow these two runners, WGarrison of Dark Side of the Triforce, Adilor of Oops All Foxes, and of course the respective teams, as you have a Game 3 coming up on Sunday. Now, we may have been goofing off here, my good old partner Zeke Hyland and I, but we're not goofing off here in the league, as we have a third game coming up for you tonight. Zeke, let's tell them all about it.
Let me pull up the schedule to remind myself what game's coming up. Currently running over on ALTTPR League 2, we have Elf versus Zelda and Chill. Currently over on ALTTPR League 2, Eudaimonistic and Darity Peels playing a casual boots race. And then late tonight at 12:10 a.m., that is midnight Eastern Time, In Rod We Trust and Swordbeam Club, BSJ 72380 versus CJ. Both of those are races I wouldn't miss if I were you.
That Eudaimonistic versus Darity Peels game, that's a rematch. That's really exciting. And Eudaimonistic used to be on the Dark Side of the Triforce team, so he's making it to the playoffs for the second time on a different team, which is really neat.
The other thing of note about that rematch, that is the only match that Elf lost in this main season.
Uh-oh.
But with that, I believe that about does it for us. We would like to give a big shout out to our tracker today, Nochibato. Big thanks for being able to keep everything in check and keeping us honest, especially when we had the tracker mishap happen and we lost the entire tracker for a moment. He was able to quickly get that put in position. And of course, Zeruvian, my co-com, fantastic guy. Go follow. And Trace by our restreamer, putting us together. But with that, I think we're about finished, Zaru.
Yeah, that sounds good for today. So again, keep an eye on the league channels. Some of these games also going to Speed Gaming, so make sure you're following over there as well, as this first week of the Open League gets going. Next week, we'll be seeing some Invitational League action, so keep your eye on the schedules and pull for your favorite team. It's playoff time, and we're all here, and we're all excited. But until next time, from those of us at League, we'll see you later.